अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं हूँ रिदा सैफ़ी। नाज़रीन सबको, पूरी कौम को सबसे पहले तो आज 23 मार्च बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो। आज यौम पाकिस्तान मिली जोशो जज्बे के साथ मनाया जा रहा है। सुबह से लेकर हमने देखा कि कितनी तैयारियों के साथ आज का दिन हमेशा की तरह मनाया गया। इस्लामाबाद में जब दिन का आगाज़ हुआ तो 21 तोपों और सूबाई दारुल हुकूमतों में 31 तोपों की वफाकी उसमें और सूबाई दारुल हुकूमतों में 21 तोपों की सलामी दी गई। जबकि यौम पाकिस्तान की मुनासबत से आज मुल्क भर में आम तातील भी रखी गई। साथ ही लेकिन थोड़ा सा ये आज हमने पहली दफ़ा देखा है कि इस तरह से चेंज करना पड़ा परेड के हवाले से डे को का स्केड्यूल, क्योंकि 23 मार्च की जो परेड होती है वो पोस्टपोन्ड हुई क्योंकि इस्लामाबाद में बहुत शदीद इस वक्त बारिशें जारी हैं और बारिशों की वजह से एक दिन पहले ये रीस्केड्यूल हो गया और 25 को अब जो 25 मार्च को वो होगी परेड, जिसमें तीनों मुसल्लह अफ़वाज समेत मुख्तलिफ इदारों के दस्ते हिस्सा लेंगे और बारिश के बाइस ये परेड को मुलतवी किया गया। और जबकि हमने ये भी देखा कि आज जो है वो लाहौर में अल्लामा इकबाल के मज़ार पर गार्ड्स की तब्दीली की पुरवकार तकरीब हुई। फिर पाक फ़ज़ाइया के चाको चौबंद दस्तों ने मज़ार के गार्ड की फ़राइज़ संभालिए। उसके अलावा जिस तरह से ISPR ने बताया कि 25 मार्च की परेड का वक्त और मुकाम वही है, लेकिन तारीख जो है वो रीस्केड्यूल हुई गई। साथ ही जी हमने ये भी देखा कि आज का दिन चूँकि जो ये 1940 को जो ख्वाब देखा था, जो ताबीर हमारे अल्लामा इकबाल ने देखी, जो सर सैयद अहमद ख़ान का विजन था, उसको पूरा 23 मार्च को जो करारदाद पेश हुई वो ना सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के लिए बल्कि हम ये देखें कि एशिया के लिए और इस खत्ते के तमाम मुसलमानों के लिए, पाको हिंद के तमाम मुसलमानों के लिए वो बड़ी अहम करारदाद थी, जिसने अपनी अहमियत को ना सिर्फ जो है वो नाफिज कराया बल्कि उसका रिज़ल्ट हमारे सामने, एग्जीक्यूशन, और वो हमारे मुल्क पाकिस्तान की सूरत में आपके सामने है। सो 23 मार्च का दिन यौम पाकिस्तान के तौर पे मनाया जाता है और आज भी उसे बहुत जोश खरोश से मनाया गया। और आज का जो प्रोग्राम हम न्यूज़ लाइन में करेंगे वो भी बड़ा ख़ास है। वो इस हवाले से ख़ास है कि हम ये जैसे देखते हैं कि पाक चीन की जो दोस्ती है वो तारीख़ी दोस्ती है और पाकिस्तान वो पहला इस्लामी मुल्क था जिसने 1950 में चाइना को रिकॉग्नाइज़ किया और पूरी दुनिया में ना सिर्फ माना बल्कि चाइना के हवाले से हमेशा पाकिस्तान ने अपना बड़ा कलीदी किरदार अदा किया है। ना सिर्फ पाकिस्तान ने बल्कि चाइना ने भी हमेशा हमारा ख़ास साथ दिया है। और आज का खुसूसी प्रोग्राम भी पाक चीन दोस्ती की तारीख पर ही है। पाकिस्तान और चाइना के दरमियान बाकायदा ताल्लुकात का जो आगाज़ हुआ वो 1950 में हुआ। पाकिस्तान इस्लामी दुनिया का पहला और गैर कम्युनिस्ट ममालिक में तीसरा मुल्क था जिसने 1950 के ताइवान चीन तनाज़े के फ़ौरन बाद चीन को आज़ाद रियासत के तौर पर तस्लीम किया था, ताकि दोनों ममालिक के दरमियान सफारती ताल्लुकात जो हैं वो 31 मई 1951 में कायम हुए और दोनों ममालिक के दरमियान ताल्लुकात में नुमायाँ गर्मजोशी 1962 को चीन भारत सरहदी जंग के बाद पैदा हुई और आज भी पाकिस्तान उसको निभा रहा है, क्योंकि भारत को अपना रिवायती दुश्मन समझने वाली पाकिस्तानी क़यादत ने चीन से ताल्लुकात बढ़ाते हुए इस खत्ते में एक मुतबादिल ताकत के तौर पर उभरने में मदद फराहम की। और 65 की पाक भारत जंग में चीन ने पाकिस्तान की जब मदद की तो दोनों ममालिक के दरमियान दिफाई और इक़्तिसादी राब्ते भी मज़ीद मुस्तहकम हुए। ना सिर्फ ये हुए बल्कि 1968 की बात करूँ कि जब चीन और पाकिस्तान के दरमियान पहली ज़मीनी रास्ते कराकोरम हाईवे का संग बुनियाद रखा गया तो दोनों ममालिक के माबैन तिजारत और राब्तों में मज़ीद इजाफा हुआ। चीन ने कोरोना जैसी वबा के दौरान भी सबसे पहले पाकिस्तान का साथ दिया और दोनों ममालिक का एक दूसरे के साथ ताउन करते जो चले आ रहे हैं। गुज़िश्ता दिनों भी हमने ये देखा था कि दोस्त मुल्क चीन का पाकिस्तान के लिए एक और तोहफा सामने आया था। कोरोना वायरस की तीसरी खेप इस्लामाबाद पहुंच गई थी। वैक्सीन की 5 लाख खुराकें लेकर खुसूसी तैयारा बीजिंग से नूर खान एयरबेस पहुंचा था। और ना सिर्फ ये सब बल्कि हमारे प्रोग्राम के तवज्जुह से K21 के प्लेटफॉर्म से हमने पहले भी, सबसे पहले जब ये पेंडेमिक अरोज हुआ ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, तो हमने जो कौंसल जनरल हैं चाइना के ली बिजान, उनका इंटरव्यू किया सबसे पहले और आपको सबसे पहले सही खबर तक हमने इसको आगाही दी, शऊर दिया। और आज भी हमारे साथ यहाँ पे जो लाइव मेहमान हैं मौजूद वो होंगे चीनी कौंसल जनरल ली बिजान। एंड आई रियली थैंक यू सो वेरी मच मिस्टर ली बिजान एंड वार्म वेलकम यू टू माय शो।
You're more than welcome. I'm very honored to be here at the Newsline with Rida Saifee, K21.
Thank you, Excellency. Yes. As today is the 23rd March and we are celebrating it with all enthusiasm. So what message you want to give to the people of Pakistan and to the nation of Pakistan first of all regarding the 23rd March?
Today is a very special day for all my Pakistani brothers and sisters. And first of all, I'd like to extend my warm congratulations for this day. And in the past few decades, when the new Pakistan was founded, and with the concerted efforts by the government and the people of Pakistan, you have making a great progress with the national economic and social development. And especially that the Pakistan government has been focusing on the people's improving the people's livelihood. I will just congratulate on that. And especially in the past few decades, with the hard working and the dedication of your government and people of Pakistan. And Pakistan now is one of the most influential countries in the regional and international affairs. And Pakistan has been doing a great job in peacekeeping and peacemaking efforts. And we the people in the region, we owe a great credit to all the job and efforts that have been done for all this. We thank you. Thank you very much for that. Yes.
Excellency, as you see that when we have conducted our program, first program with you back in 2020 February, I remember.
Yeah.
And it's like almost 1 year when we had observed this pandemic, and we are suffering from it in the whole world. So how do you see, and what is the now current position in China as well, and how do you see this pandemic is happening now in the world, and how do you see the position of this pandemic so far in this 1 year which has been passed away? Because initially when you came up in the Pakistan and in Karachi as well, I remember you just joined your position in late December 2019, and then this pandemic suddenly came up in 2020, and we were in Pakistan especially in February, and we have taken up your first interview and we aired in a very smooth manner. So now in this 1 year, how did you find all the situation and scenario, and now what is the current position of China? People wants to know it. Please communicate this.
Thank you. You know, the pandemic, as I mentioned the last time, is the common enemy of the whole world, and the international community share join hands and making concerted efforts to bring this pandemic under control. And we did, and make progress on that within more than 1 year's hard working and dedication by all the peoples across the world. And we have seen so many good news. And firstly, that most majority of the countries around the world now has been putting this pandemic under control, and the infection rate and mortality rate has coming down. And number two is that the whole international community have been undertaking strong measures for cooperation, and by providing the PPEs and supporting the test kits and exchange experiences of how to control and prevent this pandemic. And thirdly, that the whole world try to work, to resume the reproduction and to build up our economy. And we made a lot of efforts and achieved a lot in the past 1 year. And we are still, have a long way to go, but we are doing and going in the right direction. And fourthly, I want to say that with the concerted efforts, and we have been making huge progress of vaccine development. And vaccine is panacea for all human beings to prevent this pandemic. And so far, that across the world, there are scores of vaccines already put into commercial use, and many countries now has started the process of inoculate of the vaccines. And even, according to the latest figure that the U.S. Has done almost, more than nearly 150 million people has already inoculated with vaccines, and followed by China, UK, France, Brazil, India, and including Pakistan. And we have been doing a great job at this regard. So, if we sum up that the cooperation among the international communities, if we join hands, and we can unite together and to fight this common, threat to the security and safety of our peoples. And when you come to the cooperation between China and Pakistan, we have been, supporting each other from the very beginning. Early last year, that when China was fighting the pandemic, and your government and people, provided a lot of PPEs to China, and later on, when you tasted the first case, and the pandemic was spreading here in Pakistan on the Chinese side, and the Chinese brothers and sisters, we also tried our best to provide it, whatever we can provide, PPEs, taste kits.
Moreover, I just wanted to add it up that how do you see that in this pandemic, especially because so far you are here and you're observing each and everything in a very close manner. So how do you monitor it that the China's Pakistan cooperation on this on fighting with from this pandemic COVID-19 situation? How do you see it as well?
Yeah, ever since the beginning of the pandemic, both our two countries and two peoples have been cooperate and help each other. And as I said that at the very beginning, when China was was fighting with this pandemic, and Pakistan provided us with a large number of PPEs. And later on, that when you were in trouble, and we also come up with the huge assistance with PPEs and with test kits. Even government of China has assisted your government to set up a disease prevention hospital in Islamabad. And when all this in between, and we also send a few medical team and medical experts from China to come to Pakistan to introduce our experience of how to fight with this pandemic. Of course, we also tried our best to help each other when in developing of the vaccines. Vaccines. As you may know, that China so far we have been developed about 17 different vaccines with 5 technical applications have been under development, and among the 17, the 7 of them already completed or entered into the 3rd clinical trials, and 4 of them now is already put into commercial use. And we are happy to tell you that Pakistan has helped us a lot in developing one of the vaccines, that is Consul vaccine. And this company, this started the 3rd clinical trial in Pakistan, including the hospitals and companies in Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi. And so far, according to the data of the trials, and this Consul vaccine is very effective and very safe, and with only 1 dose, and the efficacy is stronger. Yes.
Excellency, as we know that when this pandemic arose in the whole world, we had seen, as usual, the West media had created so many propagandas, and having said that, that they have put so many allegations as well that this pandemic has been created over in China, or these kind of so many things. But so far now, there was the initial time when we conducted your first interview, and that time you were not been sure that what to say. So in this span of time, in this 1 year, more than 1 year eventually, what do you see now? How you are actually seeing that in that case particularly, that the West media which has been created this propaganda and all those allegations, how do you see now that what you have been figured out till the date in this span of time?
You know, from the very beginning of the pandemic, government of China, and we have put in enough efforts to, find and tracing the origin of the pandemic, and WHO also started close cooperation with Chinese experts and professionals, and we even received WHO delegations for several times, to undertake the studies in China, and especially in Wuhan, when the first case was detected in China. But as you mentioned just now, that some countries and some people, intentionally to use a special word against China, and that is not true. This is the lies and allegations against China mainly to tarnish Chinese images, and with the concerted efforts by the experts across the world, and eventually now we are remapping the origin of the pandemic, and we found that even the first case of China was detected in early 2020, January 2020, okay? But with the evidence and the findings by some Western countries, and they tested the virus which can trace back even in July of 2019, and in July, in September, in December, all this virus were found, in Italy, in Brazil, in US, and some other countries. So I think that pandemic is a common threat to the whole world, to whole humanity, and we should not politicize the virus. Virus has no means of boundary, okay, and if it's spreading, it threatens everybody of the people in this planet. So politicize of the virus is not a right way, but cooperation and with concerted efforts to find, in a scientific way and a professional way, to trace back, to trace the origins of the virus. That's the correct way. Yeah, that's the correct way. And Chinese government always, apply a strategy. That is, whenever that we have this problem, we should take objective and fair and just positions on it, and carry out cooperations with all experts across the world. And so that's what we have been doing. We have been cooperating with WHO experts team, and they completed the visit in China recently, and they already released their report. And with their initial finding, they found that this virus may come from bats, but the origins they're still not clear to try that where does this virus comes from, and so that is whenever there is any pandemic, any problem, I think we need to leave this problem to the experts.
Okay.
Leave this problem to the scientists. Let them give them enough time to find with a scientific way.
This is not a problem to create this propaganda. Rather, we have to focus on it, that how to control it altogether.
For sure, for sure.
This is
Yes.
your big thing that you are saying. Like it, this is really good, I think, approach, and this is a really positive approach which you are saying. We are continue to talking to you. गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी है. यहाँ एक वक्फा लेंगे, वक्फे के बाद वापस आते हैं. वेलकम बैक नाज़रीन, गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी है। आज हमारे साथ इस ख़ास दिन के मौके पर बड़े ख़ास मेहमान चीनी कौंसल जनरल मिस्टर ली बिजान हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं और उनसे गुफ्तगू हो रही है ख़ास तौर पर इस कोरोना पेंडेमिक में जिस तरह सिचुएशन रही, साथ ही पाकिस्तान और चाइना के जो ताल्लुकात हैं और इसके अलावा भी कोरोना के हवाले से और माशी लिहाज से और फिर सी पैक का जो मामला है उस पर सारे मौज़ूआत पे हम कोशिश करेंगे कि आज उसको कवर करें और यहाँ उनसे गुफ्तगू करें. Yes, Mr. Lee Bijan, as we were talking about the pandemic situation and everything. So now moving forward, I would also like to know that as we see that the economy has been really disturbed in this pandemic all over in the world, and eventually initially with the China as well, it goes to eventually in Pakistan as well. Everywhere we have seen that this pandemic hit the economy first in the whole world, and due to that so many people get suffer and everything got ultimately in an earlier mode of it shut down and everything. Now so far as we talk about this time, so how do you see that the economy can work in a better way, and what as I say that solutions you have been drived up, and what you see that the people have learned it from this pandemic in this situation and could do in a better way right now?
Thank you. The pandemic, as you mentioned, that has caused a huge damage to the production chain, supply chain, and the value chain of the whole world economy. And most of the countries in the world suffered a lot because of the pandemic. And you see that with the concerted efforts by various countries, and we, after 1 year, and we found that right now that the whole world economy is on the process of full recovery. And last year, with the concerted efforts of by the government people, and I think that a number of countries, has realized positive growth of the economy, including China. And last year, China's economy has recorded 2.3% growth of GDP, and some developing countries, they're also doing very well. And looking back, I think that some of takeaways here help us to better understand how to deal with these problems in the calmer manner. And number one is that we should not apply or go on a path of isolation. Isolation is not a correct way, and we should cooperate. Whenever, as I mentioned, whenever we have problem, we should join hands and carry out cooperation to find and sort out the ways to deal with the problems, rather than isolate each other, antagonize each other, and or polarize each other. That's not the way. And secondly, unilateralism is not a good way. Rather that we should apply, globalization, and international cooperation, because you see, after a few decades of growth of the world economy, nowadays that all the economies are depending on each other. No one can live alone without others, and the whole world market has greatly integrated. Under this situation, that whenever we meet this unprecedented crisis of pandemic, and we should come together.
Right.
We should come together, and we should continue what we have committed to do. That is globalization. That is working together, rather than apply unilateralism. So this is the second message. And thirdly, in order to resume the production line, production chain, value chain, and supply chain, and the countries must cooperate with each other by cutting off, or decoupling, by decoupling with some countries, or by cutting off the contacts among countries. This will not help in any way. Or maybe some sites may see that this will damage some other sites, but eventually no one can win from such a situation. So I must say that whenever that we have this problem, we should come together and working together and to protect the smooth, growth of the world economy, especially to resume the production chain, supply chain, and then secure the value chain. And that will to serve the interests of all the sites, all sites. So that's my, some of the takeaways that we should do. Yeah.
Excellency, this is, I think, it is a very positive approach which you are mentioning, and I must say that, and I must appreciate it, because of course, as we see in the whole world, and as I said that when we see ultimately, unfortunately, I must have to say this, that when we ever see the West media, they always create a negative propaganda and put all these things all togetherly in a very negative way. But this is what we actually trying to do it to give a positive message all in the whole world, and this is your approach, and it's a very kind approach, what I believe.
Thank you.
Moving forward, and if I talk about, as you have already mentioned about the vaccination in earlier in your answers, but particularly now I wanted to know that we had seen it that the vaccination has been come up with the different companies, and the different countries are actually working for it. They are deliberately busy in making it good enough for the people, so that the results come up in a good manner. And as we see that recently the Prime Minister of Pakistan also taken up the first dosage of vaccination, but unfortunately he has been contracted, somehow they are reporting that 2 days back from the COVID, and the First Lady as well, unfortunately. And we are really praying for them that they will get get well soon, as early as we see it. So how do you see these vaccinations which are coming up now? They are working, and do you see that due to this vaccination we could come up so many things which we have been lost up due to this pandemic all over in the world so far in this year?
That's for sure. If we together to find the right way to deliver or to utilize the vaccines, that will help in a very big way for the international community to put the pandemic totally under control. Right now, you see, when you looking around the whole world, and we find some things are really developing not so so good, and so far there are scores of vaccines have been put into commercial use. That's very good news. But when you come to the distribution of the vaccines, and this is really not encouraging. Some countries, they just monopolize the distribution of the vaccines, and some countries are just spreading the nationalism of vaccines, and some countries are deliberately to underrate the other countries' vaccines, and by spreading the lies and rumors of the efficacy, effectiveness, and safety. That's not good. That's not good. No, government of China always apply a proactive positions on the vaccines. Whatever that vaccines is effective and developed by any country. That is a common products, public products of the whole world, and we should share these products with all the people, all the people around the world, disregard of the race, nationality, and country, big or small, and every human beings in this world have this right to, enjoy of use of the vaccines. So my government has been doing that. Even though that now we have 4 vaccines put into commercial use, but the production is not enough. It's quite limited. But even in this way, we have been supplying, so far supplying vaccine, providing vaccine aid to more than 17 countries, especially developing countries, including Pakistan. And besides of that, we have been providing a vaccine support to COVAX. That is, the program organized by WHO, and Chinese government has committed to provide 10 million doses of Chinese vaccines to COVAX, and also to some other international international organizations.
That's good
yes.
effort. That's a good effort. I must appreciate it. Moving forward, I would also like to talk about it that we have covered it about the corona pandemic and everything. Now the biggest thing which Pakistan and China have ever in the history of economy, ever in the history of political strategy and ties, and in the whole world, eventually the thing which is everybody has eyes on it. If we talk about that, so that is the CPAC, of course, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and it is one of the biggest initiative of Pakistan and China's government all together hand by hand. So how do you see now, as we see that CPAC is the game changer, as we say it since the beginning, and it is indeed, and now the other countries are also taking so far interest into it as well, and we see the West media and then Indian media has so many problems with it. They have so many reservations about it, and eventually in a negative manner. But despite this, we are very happy with it that we have creating a very tremendous job regarding the CPAC, and it is indeed a very big project. How do you see it, and how do you see now that how can it become a source of international investment as well, and how do you see it on the point of view of international level?
You're right that CPAC is a game changer. I may add that CPAC is a fortune maker, and ever since the introduction of CPAC in 2015, and our two governments have been carrying out close cooperations to fully implement this project under the umbrella of CPAC. And I would say that the first phase of CPAC has already completed, and those projects, for the first phase are mainly focusing on energy, transportation, telecommunication, this infrastructure sector. And I don't agree with somebody. Some politicians say CPAC has nothing, has achieved nothing. That's not true. That's not true. And in the power sector, just looking back a few years back, and across Pakistan, you did not have enough electricity, and you have the blackouts everywhere, including Karachi, such a mega city.
Yes.
Okay, that is off.
Eventually, we have inaugurated so many projects,
yeah,
though they are the part of CPAC.
But after 3 to 5 years, and when all these energy projects completed and now put into full commercial operation, and these projects, these power plants, I may say that the power plants are so many categories. We have wind wheels, we have solar panels, okay, and this is renewable energy, and together with some thermal power plants, yeah, and also hydropower plants.
With your permission, I must add into it that a part of a strategical and economical point of view, have you seen that Gwadar and that port is very beautiful? The beauty of that port is tremendous and amazing, and it's becoming more popular in the whole world.
That's true. That's true. You see, economically, CPAC has been doing a great job, and the projects now completed. That is more than 17 projects has already completed, and now is under full operation, and providing assistance and support to to the Pakistan's whole economy. Yeah, so this people can see with their own eyes about the achievements, and of course, just like you mentioned about Gwadar, yes, that is a huge change has taken place in Gwadar. And according to the master plan, after a few years, and Gwadar will become the regional hub of transportation, of tourism, of doing business, a business center.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that is not a dream. That is not only a dream, and that is not only on paper, and this will come true. And but now that according to the time frame, that CPEC now has entered into second phase.
Right.
And the main area of a second phase will be focusing on manufacture, agriculture. These are two major areas that the second phase will be focused on. Manufacture, why we will focusing more on manufacture? Because we have a big problem of trade deficit. Okay, we export more and import less from Pakistan. So how to narrow down this trade gap? Okay, that is the best way is invest in Pakistan. Okay, you have so many special economic loans, and we should attract more Chinese companies to invest in Pakistan, and do not we will encourage Chinese companies together with their counterpart in Pakistan to produce these products in Pakistan,
right,
and stop import from China. So that will actually narrow down this trade gap. And secondly, your population is young, and you have so many young people are going to the workforce,
right,
and they are looking for jobs, and by develop manufacture sector, and this will create enough employment for the young people, and let the young people, let the common people to enjoy the benefits of CPEC. So we will do a great job. Agriculture. Pakistan is a big agriculture country. You have large area of Arab lands and you have water, but due to of the the management or lacking of management or lacking of skills and the technologies, and the production is not so as high as expected. So I think in the second phase of CPEC, and we'll try to focus in on this area, agriculture sector. Chinese government and the Chinese counterparts will provide enough skills, technologies, and
so
even.
It means you are quite much satisfied.
Yeah. So we will do that. We will do that. This will let the common people to benefit more from the CPEC.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. Excellency, we have talked about this as well, but the very most important thing which we can't neglect on this special day as well, as we see the innocent people of Kashmir. We have already been talked about it previously as well, but this is the right time. I think today we need to talk about it as well, as we had seen that lockdown is a very difficult and painful thing all over in the world. But when we talk about the innocent people of Kashmir, which is occupied by the Indian government, and that is a Indian occupied territory now, unfortunately, and we have seen it that they have created a human based lockdown over there, unfortunately, on a very innocent people. They are doing bloodshedding over there, they are doing terrorism over there, and that is very painful for the whole world, as we see as a human being as well. We see it, this is the violation of human laws all over in the world. What do you say on it, and how do you comment about that as well?
As I always say that you can choose friends, but you can never choose neighbors. Friends comes and go, but neighbors will be here forever. So for individual countries, that we should learn how to coexist peacefully. And yes, problems there, and you cannot avoid any problems. Problems is a common thing, but whenever there is any problem, and we should come up with a right approach to try to sit down and talk and find the best way to solve the problems. And I believe that peace and stability benefits everybody, benefits each country, and that is also the common aspiration of the people of this region, and let's working together, and I call upon the countries in this region. We should come up together and to talk each other, and we just fight jointly with peace, stability, and development. And only in this way we can better to serve our people and to realize common development.
Thank you so very much, Excellency, for your precious time and which you have taken up for this special day for the interview. Thank you, Mr. Bijian. नाजरीन, जैसे कि आपने देखा और उन्होंने कहा भी ख़ास तौर पे, और आज के दिन ये बात करना बहुत ज़रूरी है कश्मीर, और हम अपने कश्मीरी भाइयों को नहीं भूल सकते, और जिस तरह का लॉकडाउन इम्पोज हुआ है वहाँ पर, और जो ब्लडशेड और टेररिज्म भारत की तरफ से जारी है, उसको भी किसी तरह से नज़रअंदाज नहीं किया जा सकता। आज के दिन के हवाले से यही दुआ की जा सकती है, ख़ास तौर पर चूँकि आज जो हमें पाकिस्तान है, कि हमारी सरज़मीन को तो अल्लाह ताला हमेशा हिफ्ज़ व मान में रखे, साथ ही हमारे कश्मीरी भाइयों को भी इस जो मोदी सरकार की जो हुकूमत है, जो एक फाशिज़म हुकूमत है, उससे भी जल्द से जल्द निजात दिलाए। इसी के साथ ही अपनी मेज़बान रिदा सैफी को दीजिए इजाज़त। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद।